Hey guys, Mika here, and I'm bringing you a really special uke, not only for you folks, but for me as well, because this is the first time that I ever get to hold, touch, play, and share with you folks a Grimes ukulele of the concert size. I played many of Steve Grimes' custom tenor size ukes, and quite possibly a few of his baritone ukes, but this is the first time I ever get to see one and then play one, and again share with you guys a concert size. With the and then just an absolutely beautiful instrument too, boasting really nice sinker redwood top with the grain patterns and all of the different colors here on the instrument. Absolutely stunning on this instrument. And then going to the back and sides, beautiful Brazilian rosewood, some of the king of tone wood in the music world, guitar and ukulele world. So outline aesthetically very pleasing to the eye. Nice curly coil wood, this orange curly coil wood here around the bottom binding as well as the top binding, and as you'll see it's all over this ukulele as well. So again, really beautiful stuff. And Grimes is one of the very few luthiers that goes ahead and outlines his instruments with purple and white purfling around the body. So you can find it here on the back with the Brazilian rosewood and the curly coil. And then we have just regular white purfling on the sides, but then you can also find that purple and white purfling around the perimeter of the instrument, again along with that nice curly coil binding on the top. You can even find that curly coil here on the bridge, right here, as well as on the inside of the bridge, right between or right below the saddle, right here. Nice rosette with that nice curly coil, again with that purple and white purfling with the rosette. And then beautiful curly coil here on the sides as the binding of the fretboard. And then you can even have your fret markers here, 3, 5, 7, 10, 12, 15, and even 17, as well as on that side. Beautiful stuff. And then that curly coil continues to wrap around the headstock, just like that, even on this side. And then here on the front of the headstock, you can also see, outlined with the black ebony headstock, you can also see the purple and white purfling all around the perimeter of the headstock, and then the classic Grimes logo here on the top. Gloss finish neck, mahogany neck with gold and black gold tool tuner. Some of the best tuners you can go ahead and put on the instrument. Again, I'm a huge fan of that black and gold or gold and black kind of aesthetic along with that black headstock. And then it helps too that you have Brazilian rosewood with that nice dark chocolate color here on the sides and back. Just a very classy instrument overall. Black ebony fretboard and then that black ebony bridge here on the bottom. So you really cannot go wrong aesthetically with just curly coil and Brazilian rosewood and just that really brown, again, dark brown sinker redwood here on the top. Just beautifully stunning instrument. And like I mentioned many times before, an instrument can be beautiful even without it being so decked out with blingy with maybe, you know, power abalone shell or, you know, crazy kind of designs on the fretboard or maybe on the instrument, on the headstock. This is just a very classy instrument in terms of, this is something for me as a musician, this is something that I would want to play or something that I would want to like look at or be seen with in public. Like, wow, look how beautiful this instrument is, right? And again, I really love the purple on this instrument. Again, it's one of the very few, Steve Grimes is one of the very few luthiers that puts purple in his purfling choices, because usually the most common colors are blue, green, or blue and red, and then green is common, or green is not as common, and then like white and black is also really common. So again, it's always really nice seeing purple, especially with just the different woods that Steve Grimes uses. So again, with the sinker redwood, beautiful, and then highlighted alongside with the Brazilian rosewood, beautiful stuff. Now, I'm pretty excited to share the sound with you folks because this is, again, I'm super used to hearing Steve Grimes' sound on his tenors instruments. And usually a lot of his sound is more on the warmer side, kind of like a guitar sound, or kind of aiming more for that traditional sound, like from the 60s, 70s, 80s, more of that traditional warm Hawaiian kind of sound. So I get that with this concert size, which is really awesome, because when I play like a soprano or a concert ukulele, now, obviously the body is smaller than say a tenor size, so it's not going to have much of a mature sound, meaning you're not going to have as much of the sound spectrum. You're kind of decreasing the sound spectrum to more of this. So it's very common, especially like on a soprano ukulele, you're going to get a lot of highs. It's, you know, the ukulele sound is really affiliated with that soprano size. Very fun, very energetic, happy, bright, smiley, sun in the background. It's very happy sound. As you start to go up the spectrum into the alto or the concert size, into the tenor size, and then especially the baritone size, you start to increase the sound spectrum range. So you get more of the highs, you can get more of the lows, and especially more of on the lower end section. The more body you have, the more space you have here in the sound hole, and just altogether with the wood choices, you can really expand that sound spectrum, especially on the lower end. So even when I play a concert size, usually I still get a really nice, bright, happy sound, not nearly as much of that low end like a tenor size. But this instrument is very interesting because when I think of a concert, I still think of a very bright sound. But because of that Brazilian rosewood, which is a very dense wood for the sides and back, you're going to really pull a lot of that main sound, and it's going to push it to that lower end of the sound spectrum. And then with the Sinker Redwood, to my ear, Sinker Redwood has more of a warmer kind of sound versus like spruce is very bright, punchy, shimmery. Cedar can have a punch in the sound, but more on the warmer side. But Sinker Redwood is one of those warmer tops that you can put on a uke. So it's very interesting because when you have something like a Sinker Redwood where it's more on the warmer side, and then you couple that with a very dense wood like Brazilian rosewood, you just have something of the sound spectrum moving from here to more of like here, even though it's a concert size. So when I picked this up and I was strumming it, I was like, wow, this has a pretty full sound. Not in terms of volume, like it's loud like a tenor, but if I'm thinking of it more on the sound spectrum, I was very surprised with how it's not as bright sounding as what I think a concert would sound like. It still has some punch to it. A really nice rounded punchy sound. Fairly nice projection, clean sound, but I'm really surprised more on the lower spectrum, again, because of this Sinker Redwood and then the Brazilian rosewood. It's like when I'm strumming a G chord, it still has that nice, bright, happy sound, but I can hear a lot more of the lower end of the spectrum, the sound spectrum. Again, just a very balanced sound, but again, more leaning on the kind of darker side. So it's just a really well-balanced concert. And again, in my experience, when I play concerts, again, depends on who the builder is, the bracing, the strings, all the different factors. I usually always kind of expect more of a brighter, punchier sound, less mature sound because it's not as big as the tenor size with the body. But I'm just really surprised. Again, listen to like, it still has that, bright characteristic of a concert, but it's still a very rounded sound. Just like, wow. Just listen how clean. Even when I play up on the higher frets, you're going to lose a little bit of that bright punchiness. These are, I believe, nylon strings. So when you have nylon strings on the instrument, the string gauge is going to be a little thicker than, like, say, fluorocarbon strings, where you get that nice, bright, snappy sound. But even when I'm playing on the 10th and 12th fret, it's still super clean. The intonation is perfect. It's, like, so clean. Super clean. Yeah, just amazing sound. If you really want to strum this uke, it's just it's so fun, so enjoyable. Phenomenal instrument, and again, it's a concert size. Again, I'm not super surprised with, like, say, the overall volume. It's pretty much right in line with what a concert would sound like volume wise, but what I'm kind of trying to stress is more the texture of the sound, or more like the quality of the sound, and like the spectrum that it really just it pushes to the left side of the spectrum. So I'm just so, like, it has such a mature sound for a concert. Not if you're trying to compare this to a tenor size, but it's just, just listen to this E minor 7. It still has a lot of oomph underneath, but it's still bright. pretty amazing how it still pulls the characteristic of a concert sound, which is again still on that bright side, but you're chipping away some of that brightness to move again towards that more deeper song, deeper kind of resonance. But then the sustain, wonderful. So that's what happens when I get to play a top end instrument like Steve Grimes' instruments, and then using some of the best tonal woods you can use on the instrument, and still having that Hawaiian curly coil attached to all of the instrument. But again, phenomenal instrument. So I'm going to go ahead and try to showcase some of this, do some fingerstyle and do some strumming stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. There we go.